What's going on, guys? We're back. Let's take a look at some 21-22 players. I haven't looked at this before, so this is sort of how I just glanced through. I was going to do it anyway, so I figured I would have you guys join me, and we're going to take a look at the last 90 days. You can see up here, again, using market movers. If you'd like a code, I'll throw it on screen there. Get 20% off for life. If you already have a Market Movers membership existing, you can also upgrade it. So go ahead and do that. Use my coupon code, and as always, using Market Movers. Love the tool. So here we go. Let's get into it. We got hockey. We're looking at 21-22 Young Guns. Current price of $2 plus, and then 5 sales or more in the last 90 days. So obviously most of these guys are going to have more than 5 sales. So let's take a look here. Starting off, 202 sales in the last 90 days. Not really surprising at all. We got Caufield up there. Trevor Zegras right behind him. You can see the price changes. Caufield has been perfectly fine all summer long. We can take a look at his chart if you would like. We'll go view on charts. So here's Caufield, started off at $50, and you can see no real summertime lull, trended up all summer long and still trending. If we just take a vertical line, still trending upward. So that's Caufield, not really surprising. I think he's got a good opportunity to have a good year ahead of him. And while we're here, let's take a look at this. We'll take a look at his ratios, which I haven't looked at I haven't looked at with you guys. I haven't looked at it in my videos, but ratio on a PSA 10 is 3.8, so very good ratio there. And take a look at this pop, guys, 2243. So I remember when PD was up at 1100, and it was pretty insane thinking that a hockey card had a pop of over 1,000, and this is relatively new Young Gun, and we're up at pop 2243 with a low gem rate. Shout out to gem rate. We will take a quick look, and if you don't use gem rate, this is how you do it. Very, very simple. So I'll walk you through everything that I do if I was looking to see what Cole Caufield's gem rate was, because maybe I wanted to buy some Caufield raw and send them to grade. We can see right here, upper deck number 201, Cole Caufield, population 2313, gemming at a whopping 35%. Jeez Louise. If we wanted to go into the set, we can click 21-22, and now we can take a look. Moritz Seider somehow gemming at 63%. Actually, because he's Series 2. He's a 400. So another thing I will do here is if we go to card number and we go to a 2, so this is going to look at all of the Series 1s. You can look at these numbers, 35, 29, 35, 41. 41, very good for Spencer Knight, Logan Thompson. Unbelievable. If you guys don't know and haven't followed my videos, gem rate for Young Guns in the past typically have been around 65 on the lower side, but I would call it about 70% gem rate is what I would say is normal. That's changed ever since Alexis Lafreniere. I believe it was Series 2, dramatically fell off, and now the 21s and the 22s are sort of a disaster. Like you can see here, 44, 28%, 27 on Pekka Lokinen. And interestingly enough, you take a look at Series 2 and they pop right up. You got 60%, 68, 58, 72 on Lucas Raymond. So this is really helpful if you're looking to grade raw to grade. And take a look at this, take a look at the gem rate. You don't want to go out. It's tricky, guys, if you're going out and spending that much money on these Cole Caufields. You have to buy 10 of them to get 3 gems. I mean, that's just the math. You can use your eyes and you should be able to improve that ratio. But the bottom line is if you buy 10 Cole Caufields, you're going to have to sell likely 8 of them. So you have to fully expect that. You're going to sell them raw, likely take a small loss there. But again, we'll go back. You have the upside at this 3.8 on your PSA 10s. So that's how it goes, but that's my really short process. So what would I do here? I would hope to buy Cole Caufield live. Hopefully I could find something that looked really good at a show. If you can find something that looks good at a show, pay a premium for it. Raw, most definitely worth it. But anyways, that's a really quick look at how I would look for a card to go raw to grade. But let's get back to the list here, and I didn't point this out, sorry. I have this sorted by number of sales, so I want to look at sort of who you guys are looking at, who the market is looking at overall, who's selling, who's not. And so that's why I have it sorted that way. So Shane Wright, a lot of sales. So obviously people still liking Shane Wright. That's a pretty good price, $25 for a kid who got sent back to juniors. A really interesting path. I think a great path that Seattle took with Shane Wright. And, holding value, definitely a lot of hope still baked into that price. Definitely a lot of room to the downside here if he's to come out and, start off with 2 points in his first 11 games. I wouldn't expect this price to hold. If you're in a Shane Wright, that's up to you to make that decision. But this price seems a little high. We'll have to see what Shane Wright does. Juraj Slafkovsky, $15. Oh, sorry. Juraj Slafkovsky, $50. There's your Hab Les Habitants Premium. $50 for a Juraj. Let's keep looking here. So Brandt Clarke, this is one... I don't know much about Brandt Clarke. It is a $15 young gun, apparently. Price is up and volume is pretty good for Brandt Clarke. So let's take a look at his chart. And we will go view on charts in a separate screen so that I don't lose that. And you can see slightly uptrend here. So again, I'll sort of go through the things that I would look at. We're going to double this and take a look at the PSA 10. Then we'll take a look at the ratios, and we got 8.2 ratio on this. So that's one of the really cool things about market movers. If you just click, it'll pull up the data so we can see the last sales here. 100, 92, 96, 76, I would guess an auction, and then 120, but an 8.2 multiple. So when I'm thinking about this, it's, let's say I can get this card for $15. Where would I get this card? Where do I look? ComC, baby. So let's take a look at Brandt Clarke, Young Guns, and see what we got. So look at that, $13. So not too bad. These are all uncirculated, so you would have to send them. This one is circulated, so we can have a look here at the card. Looks pretty reasonable. One of the things that you want to look at, especially if you guys happen to be, I know there's not a lot of people sending, they're not taking a lot of cards, but if you're sending to tag, I'm seeing a lot of these get tag 9s, and the reason is the centering on these 22s. And the reason, what you want to look at is you want to look at this space here, but from the point to the edge of the card, and then you want to look from this point to the edge of the card. All of these cards seem to be shifted to the right there. So just FYI, that's how you look at centering on these, generally really simple. And then you have the bottom of the G to the bottom, and you'll take a look at the top of the upper deck point to the top. That's how you look at centering on this card. So top to bottom looks like okay, but you have all of these cards sort of slid to the right, and it's, who knows, that could even be part of the design, but I know that that's how it's being measured by tag from everything that I've seen going through their pop reports. PSA probably a bit looser. I haven't gone through like PSA 10s on eBay to sort of look at that, but anyways, a bit more information from you there, things I look at and think about when I'm looking at these cards. But this is pretty interesting. So let's think about it here. We got $13. We would pay $24 through ComC to grade it. So we would be into this card for $37. And a PSA 10 going for $120. I mean, that's pretty decent. Even if we look at 14-day and 30-day, we're still up at 8 times. Not a bad grading play. What's the pop on this? So pop 69. And we'll get back to gem rates. So this is the easiest way I find to just find players. Go player data. And sometimes gem rate can be a little bit slow, but we don't hold that against them. They're doing great work over there. So we'll go Brandt Clarke, all categories. It should pop right up. Base gemming at 35%. So there you go. That's the tough part of it, right? So I found what I think is a good opportunity. And why is it selling at such a premium at that 8XM is likely because it's a really tough gem, and that's why the pops are so low. So there's been 204 sent in and 72 gems, but Brandt Clark is certainly someone who I would look at and, consider grading. Myself, I'm trying to go with slightly higher dollar cards. There's just a lot of risk in this because if you send this in and you get a PSA 9, we're going to be into the card for, what did we say, 13 and 25, so 28 or $38. 24 and 13, geez Louise, $37 US. You're not getting that back on a PSA 9. We can check what PSA 9s are doing here. And actually, that's a little bit surprising that it's even at $35. I wouldn't have thought you would get that for a PSA 9. That's pretty interesting, actually. So, I don't know. So, here we go. I didn't plan this. I wasn't looking at Brandt Clark for any particular reason, but that's sort of interesting. That math makes sense. So I buy it at 13, send it for 24. I'm into it for 37, and I can sell a 9 at 35. Not too bad. Yeah, losing a couple bucks doesn't matter. We're looking for this upside. And the market's different. If you watch my videos from 2 years ago, the numbers are just way tighter because dollars aren't as high. You'd much rather buy a card for $50 that's going to sell 8x that, which would be $400. There's not many of those plays left. So you got to take more risk, but it's just about looking at the opportunities, understanding the math, doing some quick math, and going from there. So anyways. Okay, so that's Brandt Clark. Behind him, we got Wyatt Johnston. Good volume there, 152 in the last 90 days. And remember, this is just for the raw sales. That won't include the graded sales. All the big names you'd sort of expect to see from 21-22. Matty Beniers, Caden Gooley, got some Montreal action there. Jake Sanderson, prospect. Great D-man for Ottawa. Eliminator, shout out, buddy. He's our Discord live Elliot Friedman breaking news guy and does a great job. Just seems like a great guy, and we appreciate everyone there. By the way, I always shout out the Discord to you boys, and if you guys want to join the Discord, link below as well. Discord, link below. Owen Powers, Matt Boldy, priced down a little bit. We'll take a look at him very quickly, and yeah, just sort of bouncing around, but not a heck of a lot. If we go, sorry, that's the 90 days. If we go 180, yeah, so he was up over here. March through April was higher and been floating pretty flat, so not much there for Baldy. Moritz Seider, remember when we talked about him last year, start of the season? It took like 2 weeks for that young gun to go from about $250 PSA 10 down. I said below 150, and it took like 2 weeks to get there. It was pretty incredible, but the whole market did that too. So there was that. Jack Quinn, $9. I got a PSA 10 that is probably a PSA 8. I think it was a PSA 8. I went from PSA 8 to PSA 10. And anyways, $9 on Quinn. Dylan Holloway. Here's another interesting one. So I don't know a heck of a lot about Holloway. I know Edmonton fans really like the kid. So last one we'll look at is Holloway. 90 days. Okay, so let's pull him up separately. Or we can do it this way since I got these already open. Let's go Dylan Holloway raw and then view on charts. Close that, and then we're gonna duplicate this and get the PSA 10, and we'll throw the PSA 9 in there because I do want to see that. And look at that data. Only a few sales. Probably easier to look here. So let's take a look at what he's selling for on ComC. First of all, this looks like base 775. Yeah, so pretty close. 775. No silvers. There's a speckled at 180, which is utterly insane. And these two, I have a Wyatt Johnston. If you look, same thing. This one looks different than mine, but these speckled don't look like they're coming out very well. If you're into EPAC and doing some speckling, I'm not sure about these 22s. So I'll show you, for instance. Let's take a look at mine. Go to inventory manager, and so here is my beautiful Wyatt Johnston, speckled, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Uh-oh. See, that's what I mean. So I don't know what sort of action. It almost looks bent. It's super frustrating, but I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one. If you can look at that corner here, it looks funky there too. So I gotta just sell this raw now. Like, I don't know. Let me know below. Would you guys send this in? I don't see how that possibly gets. I don't even think it gets a 9. I mean, I think that's pretty egregious and likely gets an 8. But we will have a quick look here. Let's do this while you guys are with me, just for poops and giggles. Let's take a look at some rookies. Rookie speckleds. Let's take a look at Jaden Halbawatches. Again, same thing at the top. That just looks like a bit. I would be perfectly fine if that was mine. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at a Jake Sanderson and see what this one has going on. So top looks pretty good. Remember, I'm just using control and my mouse button to scroll, so that's as close as I can get. But zoom in and see, this looks really solid, this Jake Sanderson. Looks slightly left to right. I wouldn't worry about that for me, but this looks, see how far those points are. Now, I don't know if PSA is gonna do that. I would imagine they don't. You can see it more in the upper deck. This is way close to the edge. They usually don't get that close, so it's off center. But you know, with PSA, it's just spinning the wheel, chucking darts these days, anyways. So I mean, it wouldn't stop me from sending this card. And we'll take a look at one more other than Jake Sanderson. Who do we want to look at here? Let's find someone. All right, let's take a look at this Shane Wright. This one is at auction. If this is at auction, maybe I won't release this video if I want to buy this one. So this looks relatively solid compared to what I've seen. So this is definitely questionable. This could just be extra fiber. It could be very slightly flaked, but compared to what I've seen, looks pretty decent. These chipping, like, whatever. It's hard to tell in these images without having the card in hand. Sometimes that's just the way that the edge is. It's almost got like a little bevel, and that's like more reflection. It's hard to tell if it's actually chipped. Like, that doesn't look good, obviously. Oh, I flipped it over. But you know, you have a little bit of stuff there, but a lot of this is probably just the edge. So anyways, that's how I look at a card. Let's get back here. We'll get out of Dylan Holloway. Close this down, see what else is going on. Lucas Reichel. You guys watched my Conor Bedard video. I'll pop that up too if you guys want to check it out. I predicted how many goals he's going to score next year. Check out the video. Let me know what you think. How many goals is Conor Bedard going to score next year? Sort of the guys you'd expect to see: Jeremy Swayman, Kent Johnson. I really like Kent Johnson. I think the best Michigan that's likely ever been scored, probably. Beautiful goal there. If you haven't watched it, go in that search button when you're done watching this video. Don't leave this video now. Dylan Gunther. So this one's interesting too. I'm not going to click into it because I've gone through a couple. You sort of see my process and understand what I do to get a feel for, you know, what it looks like. One last thing. Let's do this. Let's take a look at, this is Cole Caufield. So we don't want Cole Caufield. We just want the 21-22s. But, so let's take a look at everyone and take a look at the speckleds. So Caufield's, and what are these? These are all Series 2, or Series 1 rather. 69, 48, 80. So these speckleds, like, definitely worth grading. Shane Pinto getting something going on there, getting absolutely robbed. Here's a couple of Series 2s. So these Series 2 speckles. seem inverse to the raws, or not the raws, the base, I should say. These ones a lot lower. So the Series 1 seem to be grading out reasonably well, while the Series 2 not so much. And we're starting to get into some base cards. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Spencer Knight, Juracek, Soderblom, Mason McTavish. You can take a look at who else we got here. Jamie Drysdale, I've heard a lot of chatter about him. Matthias Maselli, a lot of assists from him. Had a great year last year. Marco Rossi, down at $7. I think he's actually below that. That might have actually been a good sale. This 15.25 sale, I had a look earlier. I was looking at Cole Perfetti, and that was actually a French that sold at that price. So that data point has to be removed. I'll make sure to let the guys at Market Movers know, and they'll get that taken out of there. The person who sold it didn't specify it was French. They just, so like, I don't know if they knew or what. I'm not going to click in and waste your time, but anyways, that's what happened there. Shane Pinto, Dawson Mercer, Podkolzin. Don't buy Podkolzin. This isn't financial advice, but don't buy Podkolzin. Harvey Pinard, selling well still with Les Habitants Premium. Gustafsson, Seth Jarvis, Winnipeg boy right there, Shogard. And so these are the guys who are selling at volume. Anyways, we've gone over a bit in this video. I hope it doesn't drag out too long, but that's sort of what I'm looking at to make the next plays as we get ready for the season. Guys, let me know what you're doing. Who do you like? Who do you not like? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Guys, have fun, and we will check you.